with Rave. So, like I said earlier, my name is Hamza, and here's my Twitter handle. You can reach me if you have any questions or inquiries. I'm going to speak briefly about Flutterwave. Flutterwave is a payment technology company focused on helping businesses and individuals build seamless and secure payment experiences for all their customers. Right? We have a couple of products. The main ones are Rave. Rave is a merchant payment collection product. So if you own a business and you want to collect payments from people across different currencies and with different payment methods, you use Rave. Then there's Barter. Barter is our consumer product. It is kind of like a mobile wallet app that helps you pay your bills, create virtual cards, send and receive money. Then there's also our USSD product, and Wave Express is our agency banking product. Some stats about Flutterwave. We currently partner with about 6 PTSPs. We process over 2 million transactions per month. And we can help you collect payments from over 25 currencies. And currently we have over 60,000 merchants on Wave. Here are some of our major clients. We have TransferWise, Uber, Facebook, Flywire, and airlines like Arik Air. So today I was speaking about the Android SDK, right? So basically what it does is, if you have a mobile app, a product that has an Android application and you want to collect payments from it, say you offer certain services and you want your customers to pay after they find whatever they want to buy, right? Or you are a ride sharing app and you want to charge your customers for their rides, or you're a loan app and you want to be able to collect repayments, right? As long as you don't collect money on an Android app, you can use the Rave SDK. So here's what it looks like. So there are two sides to it. There's a drop-in UI, which is a plug-and-play version of the Rave SDK, where you really don't need to code up any user interfaces. This one comes with a built-in user interface that you just have to integrate, and your customers can just go in and make their payments. So to integrate the Rave Android SDK, there are 3 requirements. The first is that the minimum SDK version is 15. Then you need to create a Rave account. Rave accounts are free, and you can do that via these websites. Or if you own a Rave account already, you can use your existing Rave account, right? So I'm just going to run through the steps before I go into the live demo. So the first thing you do is you add GSpark to your Maven repository. You add the Maven repository to your top level Gradle file. Then you add the Rave Android dependency in your apps build.gradle file, right? So this number might change because this is the current version. It might change, it might increase. Probably when you're seeing this video to be on 1.0.39, but you can always check the documentation to get the latest version of the SDK. So the permissions required are just 2. There's a read phone state, which is used to get the unique identifier for your customer's device. Then there's the internet permission, which is required to make network requests. So after adding the dependencies to your project, you can integrate it by just adding these lines, right? The first step is to create a RavePay manager object, right? Then you now set the parameters, like the amount you want to charge, the country you are going to be charging from, the currency, the customer's email, the customer's name, the narration, and the unique transaction reference. Other things that you have to add are your API keys, right? You can find your API keys on the rate documentation, on your rate dashboard, right? You go to settings and you go to API keys. You will find your public key, your secret key, and your encryption key. The Rave Android SDK uses only your public key and your encryption key. Then you then specify the payment method that you want to collect. So there are quite a number of payment methods. There's card, there's account payments, there's Ghana mobile money payments, there's M-Pesa payments. There's also Uganda mobile money payments, and this week we'll be adding a pay with bank transfer to the SDK. So these are other parameters that you have to add in case you want to set a special thing, right? You want to change the colors of the buttons or the colors of so any other styling that you want to do. You can specify a theme. If you want to do pre-auth transactions or you want to do sub-accounts, right? You can add the parameters to the Rave Pay Manager. And if you want your customers to see a fee before they go on with the payments, right? You can specify that where they should display fee parameter. Then you call .initialize. So the .initialize is going to load up the UI that is now going to be displayed to your customer, right? Where the customer will enter their card details or their account numbers or their mobile numbers if they're using mobile money. So here is what a typical card payment looks like, right, on the Rave SDK, right? Person enters their card number, expiry, and their CVV, right? So after the customer has completed their payments, right, we communicate the result of the payment to the developer by calling the on-activity results in the calling activity, right? Then you check for the result code if it is successful, if it is an error, there's an error, or if the payments have been cancelled. Then this is a typical thing, right? You specify the primary colors, color primary dark, the OTP button style, the pin button style, tab layout, and a few other styles, just to change the look and feel of the UI that is provided by default. Yeah, and finally, after we provide the result of every payment, right, highly advisable that you call your server before giving value, right? So we will tell you the payment is successful or not, right? But before you give value to your customer, you should always communicate with your server, right? So your server can now do a double check to ensure that the payment was fully successful or it failed or whatever the status is. You can, and on the server, you can use a very good way to ensure stable transactions to use web, right, to get the notification because of any transaction. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a practical demo of what integrating the SDK feels like, right? Okay, so this link here is the link to the SDK, right? So so I'm just going to be following through the steps. So the first step is to add Jetpack to your root build or Gradle file, right? So I just created this project. It's an empty project. It pretty much does nothing, right? So the first step is I'm going to add this line. I'm going to add this line to this project. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is root build or Gradle file. Then step 2 is to add the dependency to your Gradle file. So you do that by adding it here. Then you sync. Yeah, so we're done syncing. So let's go to the layout and just I'm going to create a sample, something that looks like a checkout page, right? So let's assume the customer also has selected that they want to buy the Samsung Galaxy Note, right? And let's say this is the total. So let's say this is 1,000 naira. Then let's assume the customer also wants to buy the phone case, right? And this costs 10 naira. So we can now say that total is going to be 1,010 naira. Yeah. So let's assume that the customer is going to pay 1,010 naira. Let me just put total here. Right, so I'm going to add the 14. Says make pay. Are you guys following? So let's assume this is our checkout page, right? I know it doesn't look like a real checkout page, but like, I guess we just have to manage this, right? So when the customer clicks on pay, right, we load the Wave SDK, right, and the user enters their card details, right, and they make the payment. So to do that, let's go back to the documentation. The documentation says, okay, so it says we need to add these permissions. We go to our manifest and we add the permissions here. Then the next step is to create an instance of RavePay Manager. So let's do RavePay Manager. It takes in the activity, which is this. Then we now start setting the required parameters like the amount. So in our case, we know the amount. Okay, so before we do this, let's do something like this. So our payment button, when the user clicks on the button, we want it to call a function called make payment. So in there, we create the RavePay manager. So we are sure that we know that the user is going to pay 1,010 naira, right? So it has to be a double, so we convert it to double. So in real use cases, this amount is going to be variable. It depends on how much you're charging, right? If it is 5 naira, you pass in 5. If it is 10, you pass in 10. Then we set the country. We're going to use Nigeria, NG. Then we set the currency to NGN. Then we set the first name and last name. The last name. Then if you want to, if you have a narration, you can decide to add it. It's an optional parameter. So like here we can see the parameters that are required and their explanation, right? And you can see the ones that are not required also, right? And if you have like questions about any of the parameters at all, there's usually a link to the document, a link to a page on the documentation that explains what the parameter does. So let's just go on. Just set the narration. Purchase of the new Samsung Galaxy phone. Then we set the public key. So for public keys, so before you can get a public keys, you need to have created a Rave account, right? And the process to create a Rave account is pretty straightforward. You go to rave.flutterwave.com, right? And you create your account pretty much. I already have an account, so I'm just going to log in. So this is the name of my company. So by default, it's going to be, so you can toggle between live and test mode by clicking on this switch here. Right? So because we are testing, this is just a demo. I'm going to make it be in test mode. So to get my keys, I come to settings, then I come to API. So here I see my test keys, right? So this is the public key. We copy it and paste it here. Then we set the encryption key. Yeah. Then the next step, according to the documentation, is to set the transaction reference. So first, so we're just going to put the transaction reference here. So this just generates a string that corresponds to the current time in milliseconds. So it's important to know that the transaction reference has to be a unique string per transaction. So for this, our demo will be accepting card and account payments. So for account payments, we're accepting it true. For card payments too, interested in card payments. Then we're not interested in M-Pesa, we're not interested in the CS payments or UK. Then we need to tell the SDK that we are going to be on the staging environment. So set that true. If you don't specify, if you want to be on live, right, we set it to false. But because this is just a demo, we have to set this to true. Then I think we would like to show our customers the fees. So we put this here. And yeah, I'd like to show that while on staging. Then we're done with passing on the parameters. So the next thing is just initialize it. That's what initializing you do is that it is going to show us the UI. It's going to display the payment UI to the customer. Then we'll go to the next step. So the next step is about collecting, handling the response. So to get the response, what we have to do is we need to override an activity, right, in our activity. Result. And then we check the request and we check the request code to be sure that it is Rave that is sending us this request. So if request code is equal to Rave, and data is not equal to null, You cannot check for the actual results code. So I'm just going to copy all of this out. So what this means is that if the transaction, if the result is successful, right, it's going to enter this block. So it's going to show us a toast, right, and a message, right. So I think I should take it step by step. So what this one does is it returns the raw response, the JSON response that contains things like transaction reference, the Flutterwave reference, the card token, all the raw data about that successful, the status of the payment, right? So beneath it, we can now start checking the actual status. If it's successful, for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to show a toast that says success, right? So let's make it long. If it is if it's unsuccessful, if there's an error, I'm just going to show a long one. And if the payment was cancelled by the user, I'm just going to show a toast that says cancel. So I think we're pretty much done here. Okay, I think one thing we can do is just response. Let's call this transaction response. Then I think we're done. Yeah, so if you're interested in customizing the look, right, you can create your style and add it via the web initializer. Then if you're using Prograd, it's very, very important that you add this. Although as at the last update of the SDK, this is not necessary anymore. The SDK handles Prograd automatically. So let's run the app and see what it looks like. Yeah, so this is our cart page, right? So we like to make a payment. Well, looks like there's an issue somewhere. Let's see. Oh, so you made a mistake. We need passing the email. Customer's email is compulsory. It's a required parameter, as you can see here. Skip it. So I'm going to pass in. I'm going to run it again. And click on pay this time. So it shows us the payment methods that we specified. So this is what account payments looks like. This is what card payments look like. So for card payments, you just enter your phone number, your account number, you select a bank from this list, right? Then for card payments, you just enter your regular card number. So we're going to be using a test card, right? To get test cards, you can, I mean, there are a few test cards on the documentation. Let me see if I can pull them up. So yeah, so let's try this one. Card number is 42424242. Then valid to 1220. Then our CVV is 780. So you can, the customer clicks on pay. Then it shows, so because we specified that we want the customer to see the fee while initializing the SDK, it shows the customer this dialog. Right? So currently there's no fee, right? It's the exact amount of money that we passed in that the customer is going to charge. So select yes, load it. So we're going to receive a fake OTP. So just going to enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So as you can see, it returns success in the toast. Right? So that means that we've been able to complete a successful card transaction, right? So yeah, so that I think that pretty much sums up how to do a very basic integration onto Rave SDK, right? Now that said, there are so many use cases, right, based on whatever you are building, right? For people that are building subscription services, right, they might need something called payment plans, right? And the SDK supports payment plans here. The SDK supports payment plans. Then for people that are using that need to pre-auth their customers, right? What pre-authing is a flow where you charge the customer, right? And the money is still in the customer's account, but the customer cannot spend it. So kind of the way like Uber does when you start a ride. Then if you have a sub-account flow, right, where after charging the customer, you want to split the money, you want the money to go into like 2 accounts. This is useful for people that own marketplaces, where the owner of the marketplace, the owner of the platform on the website wants to take, say, 5%, and the remaining 95% will go to the actual merchant that is offering the service, right? So there are so many other use cases, right, for collecting payments. So I think the first step is to identify your use case, right? Once you identify your use case, you go through the documentation, right? Then you can come to the Rave SDK, and the Rave SDK will support pretty much all payment flows, right? If you want to support multiple currencies, also you can add M-Pesa, right? Which is this is the dominant payment method in Kenya, right? Or GH Mobile Money, which is the dominant payment method in Ghana, right? Or UG Mobile Money, right? So there are quite a number. I mean, you can do a lot of things, right? It's just based on your use case, right? So I think that sums up my presentation. I don't know if you have any questions, or I'm going to hand over to Dami in case she's going to. I don't know if she has.
Hello, guys. Thank you very much, Hamza. That was really, it was interesting for me. So guys, please, if you have any questions, you can unmute your mic and ask him questions, or you can just type it in the chat box, which he can see. So does anybody have questions? Hello, Ademuyiwa, I see you've unmuted your mic. Do you have questions? Okay, since nobody's asking questions, so that we don't waste Hamza's time, if you have any questions, you can direct them to me, operations@cousant.com, and I'll forward you to Hamza. So, okay, someone is asking questions. Someone is asking a question. He says, hello. Okay, we are waiting for your question.
Okay, hello.
Hi.
Yeah, hello, Hamza. Thanks for the presentation. It was very interesting. So one question I would like to ask is, I don't know if you are in the best position to answer this. It's about settlement. But that's what I always have issues with on the payment systems here in Nigeria, like settlement. Their document, they always state T+1, but many of them, they don't do T+1. I don't know for Flutterwave Wave now, their settlement, is it actually T+1 or there are issues around it?
No, it's definitely T+1. But it depends. If you are international, if you are collecting international payments, right, it takes a little longer, right? But ultimately, if you have like any more questions about settlement, you can reach out to the support, right? You can send them an email at hi@flutterwave.com. They will be able to give you a more robust answer concerning settlement cycles. I hope I've answered the question.
Okay, yeah, all right. Thank you.
Okay. Let me just go through some of the questions in the chat.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Can we have the code on GitHub to read later? Okay, I can post this this particular code here on like on a gist, and I'll send it to Dami, so in case anybody is interested in it, right? But the SDK, yeah, pretty much, yeah. So I'm going to, I can do that. Then another question is, are there any dependencies to be added to the apps gradle for integration to work? Yeah. So if you look at my screen at the moment, step 1 and 2, you have to add. For step 1 and 2, you have to add your root build or gradle file. For step 2, you then have to add the actual Rave Android library to your build or gradle file. Then the next step is to add the permissions in your manifest file. So that is all you need to do in terms of dependencies. So someone is asking a question about recording. I think Dami is recording this conversation. So in case you need the recording, I'm sure she can always get it to you. I think I've answered all the questions here. So if you have any other questions, so I'm going to paste a link to there's a Flutterwave developer Slack where we have a community of people who are integrating the SDK or people who have integrated, right? So if you have any questions, you can post it there. You always get someone that will assist you with it, someone that has done it before, or it could even be someone on the team that will help. Or if you have any more custom requirements, right, you can always drop it there. So here's the link to join in the Flutterwave developers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Hamza. Thank you to everyone that was on this on the call. So I've recorded this session, so I'm going to put it on YouTube between today and tomorrow, and I'll send everybody a link. Thank you so much to everybody that joined, and thank you, Hamza. I'm also going to copy the Slack link and also send it to you so that you don't miss out on it. Hamza, thank you very much, and we'll finish the call now.
Yeah.